Welcome to Currency Shift, the podcast where we showcase and share insights from first, only, and the disruptive. These are people who are creating new lanes and carving new paths for women, people of color, and diversity and inclusion. My name is Sade Simone. Let's get started. On today's show, we have Chantel George. Chantel George is the founder and CEO of Sistas in Sales Incorporated. She created Sisters in Sales because she noticed a deficiency when it came to women of color in professional sales positions. Chantel previously had senior level positions at Yelp, JustWorks, and Data Miner within their sales organization. She also created and executed diversity and inclusion programs at her previous companies. And in her commitment to professionalism and diversity, she is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and NAMIC. We have Chantel George in the house.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited for you. So before we begin, we have to do our traditional, you guys know what it is. You have to cheers.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
clink, clink. Yeah.
Got it.
Cheers. Take
Thank
a little
you.
sippy sip.
This is nice.
Yeah, it's good, right? It's strong, so
Okay.
like certain parts during the interview, they'll
Yeah.
know when it's hitting. All right, so we have Chantel George in the house. She's the CEO and founder of Sistas in Sales. She's one of my really good friends. Known her for about 4 years. So I'm excited to help her share her story with all of you. Before we really dig deep into what you're currently doing and the future, let's take 5 steps back and really understand you and who you are and how you even came to be in this situation. So tell us a little bit about what were your aspirations when you were younger?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. So I was born in the Bronx. I think we have to go that far back to get to aspirations. So I was born in the Bronx to a dad that was retired, but he basically quit working 9 to 5 corporate, and he wanted to open up his own business. So he's retired in that aspect, but he was an entrepreneur at the same time. Mm-hmm. And my mom was a nurse. So, working really closely with my dad and helping him on his harebrained schemes and helping him, whether it's flipping homes, buying homes, fixing them up and flipping them, or, being a contractor, whatever it was really inspiring to watch him take something into nothing, even though he wasn't working a regular job. So that actually rubbed off a lot on me and made me want to be an entrepreneur at a really young age. So my aspiration from, 5 years old was to own my own business, do my own thing, create my own goals, have my own team. Mm-hmm. And I started doing it really young. So I would learn piano from my teacher, my music teacher. And then I would teach that lesson to the neighborhood kids for money.
Oh, she was a hustler, a true boogie down Bronx hustler. So I think there's something there that I want you to really kind of put emphasis on for those people out there who are parents. Because it sounds like you learned how to hustle from watching, not necessarily your father saying or telling you what to do. It was your observation of what he was doing, which is really interesting.
Yes. I'd watch him. We would drive by, around the block together, and he would point out homes that he could fix. Mm-hmm. So he knew what his capacity was. When you know what your capacity is, you know what your threshold is, it makes it really easy for you to achieve your goals. So
wait, say that again.
If you know your capacity, right,
yes,
and what your threshold is. So, for example, we're not driving around picking a commercial building with 12 stories and going, oh, I can fix it myself. Mm-hmm. No, we're looking at homes that have a couple of things wrong with them that he could fix, turn around, and sell for a profit. So he knew himself really well, and that inspired me to know myself really well and understand what my strengths are.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of like repeat aha moments, as Oprah calls them, from the show. But you point on something very, very important, is knowing yourself, like having that self-awareness. So tell us how, okay, so you went and you started selling piano lessons, which is really smart.
Yeah, modern day MLM scheme.
So from there, like, how did you shift? Like, at what point when you were younger did you realize that, okay, I'm going to follow my father's example, and I'm going to actually do this for real, for real?
Okay, great question. So I went to boarding school. My mom passed away, and my dad couldn't deal with it himself. So he wanted me to be in boarding school so that he could have the flexibility to travel around and to continue his real estate business. In boarding school, it was around the time when YouTube and social media was becoming really popular. There was a lot of information out there. So you could research and teach yourself pretty much anything out there. So it was prom season coming up, and all the girls wanted to get their hair done. So I was like, well, I should teach myself how to do it. So I went on YouTube and I would teach myself how to do it, and I started to do it for them. So I started one prom season. I had like 2 girls, like $20 a piece. Next year, I was doing like 12 to 15 girls, $20, $25 a piece, depending on what they wanted. And then I took the pictures from that prom, thing. I took those photos and I put them on a site called Model Mayhem. And then I started getting contacted to do professional photo shoots. And then I started going. I did hair for like Jasleen from America's Next Top Model. I did hair for like these R&B artists. I was on tour, all from YouTube and like self-learning.
So the key thing from that whole story is seeing an opportunity and capitalizing on it, and not just waiting for somebody else to, but taking it in your own hands to actually learn what it is that you need to learn in order to be successful in that opportunity, which I think is really good. One thing that I like is that you said to scale, and that's basically what it is, to scale. You took advantage of social media and started posting your work, and that's where you were able to like climb and have all the success. Tell us about how social media helped you during that time period. Like, what platform was the most important at that time for you, and then how did you use your networks to really grow where you were on tour?
Facebook was probably a big deal because everyone knows someone who can help you. It's the 6 degrees of separation, right? Like, you do hair, someone knows someone that needs to get their hair done. Now all of a sudden you're booked, and the cycle repeats itself. So I think Facebook was really huge for me. I think constantly discussing my brand every chance I get, because it starts to fuse within you. Like, you can be Chantel that, is a high school student, or you can be Chantel that is a hairstylist for the celebrities. It all depends on how you want to put yourself and how you want to advertise yourself and position yourself. You determine how people see you and how people interact with you. So
wait, say that again for them?
It's true. You determine how people interact with you. You determine how people see you. You are your brand. Yes. They're not 2 separate things. So, yeah. Facebook, definitely. I started to change how I interacted on Facebook, by the way. So, there's nothing wrong with like making jokes on Facebook or cursing and being an individual, but when you're tied to a business, that business is you. So I started changing how I was interacting on Facebook, the type of posts I would put, the type of things I would retweet or share, repost, and things like that.
So from a young age, you were very, very aware of the importance of your presentation online and offline.
Definitely.
Okay, perfect. So at what point did you shift from the hair industry into sales?
Well, being a hairstylist entrepreneur, you're still selling yourself. So I wouldn't say it was like a major shift. It just is, I'm just selling something different. So through college, I thought I was going to be a lawyer, because I always thought, lawyers are just selling a case, or they're selling, their client, what have you. So it's still sales. But then I applied to Yelp and I got in, and I completely forgot I applied to Yelp because I didn't really know what the site was at the time. So I was like sleeping, and then they called me and they were like, oh, you're, this is your phone screen or your phone interview. And I was like, what? What's that? Like, anyways, so But selling Yelp, selling hair, selling what have you is all the same thing. It's presentation, it's strong communicative skills and things like that. So it doesn't matter what exactly you're selling. So I guess to answer your question, I never really transitioned from one area to the other area. I've really been selling all my life.
Yeah, so you just grew into something a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
That you could do on a regular basis that you saw growth.
Yeah, or the product saying to me, it made sense to me, so I was confident in selling it.
All right. Well, when you did the lateral move, when you grew and expanded from hair into actual products and like SaaS and all that stuff, at what point did you realize, okay, I'm at this level, but I see less of me?
I mean, it kind of happens everywhere. I mean, it's in boarding school, there are not a lot of people that look like me running around. Yeah. So, it started there, it kept going. So I think I just got accustomed to being the only one in the room. But going back to the personal brand. So I'm proud to be the only one in the room because it gives me opportunity to recondition how people think about Black women. Every opportunity that I'm the only one in the room gives me the opportunity to teach them a different way to see me and to see my other sisters, other Black women around the world. Yeah. So same thing goes when you're traveling. When you're the only one, in the middle of Thailand, you have the opportunity to shape how people see Black women internationally. So it's not a bad thing. It is frustrating, of course, sometimes because you do want more diversity in your workplace. You're thankful that you got to that point, but you want to open the door and bring more people in, and not everyone can see the business case.
Right.
But, that's a fight that we're consistently fighting.
Okay. Like, what were some pivotal moments in your career that helped you finalize and decide to start such a dynamic organization like Sistas in Sales?
Okay. Going back to being raised by Caribbean parents, the only two careers that they told me I should do was like doctor or lawyer.
Hold it. Tell them a little bit about what part of the Caribbean you're from.
Dominica. So my dad's from Dominica, which is a small French island between Martinique and Guadeloupe. My mom was from Jamaica. And they didn't grow up with, knowing the plethora of careers that are out there. Everyone knows two careers, doctor and lawyer. So as I continued this journey of sales and I started to get more into it and I started to kind of ask more questions like, how much is so-and-so making and how big is that deal and what does that commission look like? And I started thinking about it and I was like, wait a second, you can make a lot of money in this job. Yeah. Nobody really knows that.
I'm telling you, sales is where it's at.
Yeah, sales is where it's at. So you don't know that as a kid growing up. So you have to kind of start and do some more discovery. So that inspired me to go, okay, couple of things. I'm the only one in my company, but I know that there are other women that are experiencing the same thing. So I can create a sisterhood. Yes. Just based upon that. 2, there are women that may not know that sales can be as lucrative, and we need to educate them because they can be working towards quite large salaries and a new lifestyle, but they don't know what they don't know. So they're the 2 things that we're trying to accomplish. We started with the sisterhood. We started with 10 women. And then the next event, we had about 60 women. And then the last event we just had, we have 85 women that showed up. And now we're getting requests from our partners asking us about chapters in London, chapters in San Francisco and Atlanta. So it's really pushing us to find more. I'd like to say that in this instance, women of color in sales are finding us. Yes. Because of the climate as it stands right now.
So Chantel George is our first, only, and disruptive. So she is the first triple crown that we have that fits in all 3 categories. She's the first person to start an organization that is for sales specifically for women of color. She's the only organization that's out there that is focused on having more women in sales of color. And then she's disrupting a whole industry by putting more opportunities out there for women of color in sales. So I'm super excited to talk to you more so about your social currency, right? So social currency is building social networks to gain access, influence, and resources and networking in the digital space that affects a person online and offline. With your social media, you have over 2,000 followers on Instagram and over 2,000 followers on LinkedIn, plus over 500 connections. How are you using your Instagram and your LinkedIn to really bridge and build connections online and offline?
Okay, good question. Let's start with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn is a really interesting beast. You can connect with someone professionally, send them a message. Next thing you know, you're having coffee with them, picking their brain, right? And next thing you know, maybe you have a referral to their company. I think LinkedIn is a social platform that, I don't know, I kind of still feel that it's underrated.
Yes.
I don't know if people are aware of the fact that posting something, for example, about the professional organization CIS, posting something on LinkedIn about a next event will inspire a lot of people to come to it off the strain that it's on LinkedIn versus seeing it on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, because we know those are social sites. So if you have a business and you really want to scale it and get more business-minded people in the door, you should absolutely leverage LinkedIn. If you have a business that has a social aspect to it and you're looking to throw mixers and you're looking to throw events, you should be leveraging Instagram. So it depends on what you're looking for, but I've used both of them quite frequently. At my last event, a lot of women came up to me and said they found me from Instagram. Women flew from like Georgia and Ohio saying they found me from LinkedIn. So it's a couple of different things. I think LinkedIn creates credibility for your business because you can see the titles of the people that are commenting. You can see, the comment stream will show you the conversation that you have, and it puts your professional best foot forward. Versus on Instagram, you speak a little bit more colloquially.
That's true. So, like, everything isn't bells and whistles when you start a business, more or less a organization to your size, to that size that you have. Like, tell us a little bit about what type of struggles you've encountered and how you've kind of, like, pushed past.
Okay, yeah. So right now, diversity and inclusion is a buzzword. And a lot of companies are seeing a group like ours and going, oh, perfect. Come to our company, throw a panel, our problems are solved. And that's not how it works, right? So, and also, we're not to be tokenized that way. And not that I don't want to work with partners and sponsors. I love them. I adore them. Without them, we wouldn't be here where we were today. But I like to respectfully push back and ask, what diversity inclusion initiatives do you have going on in your company right now? Don't worry about me as an external partner yet. What have you done to fix your own home? What have you done to make sure that you are in line internally before you work externally? So it might come across like I'm turning down the business, but I'm saying I need you to take a look within first. Have you even started to try an ERG or create an ERG? Have you even thought about hiring a diversity and inclusion specialist?
Yes.
If you haven't started doing that, and now you're looking externally for, an organization like myself to fix your problems, we're not going to get off on the right foot.
And I like how you're doing that deep dive, because it's like, no, this isn't a one fix all type situation. Me coming in and doing a panel, you're actually trying to make businesses and companies and brands really look at themselves and say, okay, what else can I do to sustain? Like, if I do bring in 3 women of color, like, what am I doing to actually make them feel supported? And then also, what am I doing to help grow their career so that they're actually not just an account executive, but at the end of the year, they're like a senior or a director or something. That's really good. So when you're having these conversations with these companies, I know that it can be taxing. Right. And there's a little bit of encourage, but then there might be some discouragement that occurs. So what do you do to like maintain like your mental health with all of this? Because it's like you're in like three different worlds right now with trying to build, grow, but also sustain and make sure that people are getting the core message of it all.
Yeah. Well, time management, number one, every minute of the day is allocated. That allows me to feel at peace. Okay, I know that I'm not going to get any curveballs, or at least if I do, I know where to place it in my schedule. So I calendar for the entire week first. Then the second thing is I really meditate between transitions. So like after this podcast, I'm going to go meet a friend later in the afternoon. So between now and then, I'll find some time to recenter myself. Did I achieve all the things I wanted to do this morning? Yeah. What's on the docket for this afternoon? So I'm not letting any minute or any hour go by without me making sure I'm maximizing the most out of it. And that actually makes me feel less anxious.
Yeah, that is important because anxiety and like feeling disorganized can be damaging to mental health for some people. What are some of the things that you do to celebrate your wins?
Yeah, so I like to travel. I like to travel. I like to get lost in a city. I like to have some alone time. So, for example, I did travel for work a couple of days ago, and I was trying to rally my team to hang out, and sometimes it's the universe will speak to you and just tell you that you need to be alone. When sometimes you're trying to pull your friends to go do something and they're just not budging and like, right? You're like, oh, I want to go to this brunch and I want to invite all my friends, and like, you're just like not getting all the feedback. That's the universe telling you, just be alone. Just be by yourself for a little bit.
And it's okay, right?
Exactly. Just hear your own thoughts, look up into the sky, center yourself. So I don't go against the grain when things like that happen.
You just go with the flow and take it as the universe telling you just to be still.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I do a mixture of things. So I do try to meditate. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it feels right to me. Like, I don't know if I go to a class and I start my version of meditating that they'll be like, excuse me, what? But it works for me. And then I find like just being out in nature.
Yeah.
Sitting at the park or like going for a walk, a 10-minute walk is always it just calms and relaxes you. With you have the hustle, you have the travel. Tell us a little bit about what you do for travel, because you have this mission that I think is worth saying, because a lot of people of color, a lot of women, they don't travel enough or have like bigger goals. Like, you'll hear people saying, oh, I want to go to Jamaica, I want to go to Greece, yada, yada, yada. Like the whatever country is in season to go to that people are talking about and Instagramming. Yeah. That's where everybody wants to go. But tell us a little bit about your mission when it comes to travel.
Yeah, so the mission is 30 countries before 30 years old. The mission is also to push myself out of my comfort zone. So I don't get excited anymore about like going to very well populated places or places that everybody has been there thousands of times, but new places where I can try new foods or I can understand the culture a little bit more is really interesting to me. I also have an anthropological spirit, so I like understanding culture. I feel like we're all connected. So, like, if we spend more time traveling to other countries and meeting people, you kind of see a little bit of yourself in them, too. And it starts to help you piece together the world and how, we are all brothers and sisters of one another. So that's what inspires me to go. Like, for example, when I went to Colombia and I'm seeing these women that are Colombian but are also Black. And, it's like seeing yourself again. Yeah. It's kind of cool. And then to hear about the history and the diaspora and how we all have been split around the world is also interesting, too. So I attack travel with a different lens. So not just to kind of like party and hang out all night, but to really like understand how people are really living here, because I think that helps me stay focused, too. Yeah. When you come back from travel, say you go to a part of the world that is not as wealthy as New York City, and you see how people are living there, it makes you think a little bit differently about your problems.
That's really good. Like, having perspective. Like, the problem that I have right now with my rent being ridiculously high. Like, New York, y'all need to do something about that. Like, I just really don't understand. Yeah. Like, why is it so high? Like, I could go to North Carolina and buy a house for $2,100 and like be living like really nice. I could have land. Yep. I could have a baseball field in my. Okay, yes. It's not that. Well, big, maybe.
You're right.
But it's.
I'm over here like yes. Wait, no.
But but putting it in perspective, there are other places where what I have in my apartment, they may not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all of the perks and stuff. So that's great. What number are you on for your countries? Like, how many countries have you visited?
I think right now I'm at 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm at 22. So I want to go to Africa next. I feel like I have to be like mentally prepared for that. I don't know what it is. I feel like I have this dream, right? I've always had this dream. I feel like I'm going to get there. Everyone's going to be like, you're home. I don't know why I have that dream, But I feel like it's going to be emotional. I feel like it's going to
Yes.
take me some time to kind of digest it. You know, I've been watching a lot of like travel vlogs and reading a lot of travel blogs, and I feel like it's going to be a really big life-changing thing. So I want to prepare myself for that.
And I think that's a perfect fitting is the fact that you love travel and just understanding different cultures, because in a sense, like that attaches itself to what you're doing with Sistas in Sales. You're building communities, right? And all over the world, people sell. Like, sell is like an international thing. It's universal. Like, you have to sell. So having your understanding of different cultures, you can actually, when you do launch in London, when you do launch in Africa, when you do launch in all these other places, it's just going to be spectacular. And I'm excited for you to have that. So you've lived an impressive journey. Like, if you guys want to read more about her journey, you can go to sistasandsales.com and read the blog. It's the happy birthday one where it kind of gives you like a mini bio. Yeah. Right? But if you could think of all the advice that you've received, but then also think of all of your experiences, and you had to put one piece of advice, just one piece of advice on a Post-it note to have on your desk, what would it be?
To act first. Act first.
Say that again one more time.
Act first. Just act first. You got that gut instinct to do something. Yeah. Just do it. And everything else will fall into place. I can promise you that.
I like that. Mic drop on that. Act first.
Yeah.
Right? One of my mentors used to say, what did she say? I forgot now. Look, guys, this champagne is strong. I don't know if I'm slurring or if you can fully understand what I'm saying here, but she is, bear with me. She used to say, ask for forgiveness, not for something. What is
permission.
There we are. So ask for forgiveness, not for permission, which I think that goes right in hand with the act first. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like Nike.
Yeah,
Shout
like
outs to
Nike.
Wait, no shout outs to Nike unless you're sponsoring. Yeah, so, yeah. Paid sponsorships. All right. So this is this part where it's called the speed round, right? I'm just going to give you a question or give you a word and just respond with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
I'll try.
You ready?
Yeah.
You need to take a sip? Like, you good?
I'm good.
This champagne is strong, but it's good. All right. What gets you out of bed?
Oh, that's hard. Little wins.
Okay. Little wins. Favorite band?
Oh, I don't know if I listen to music with bands, but
it could be an artist or whatever, but like,
you know who gets me? Adele.
Adele?
Or I get her because she don't know me, but yeah.
Adele?
Yeah,
I like Adele.
I like Adele.
I don't know if I should like share that story on air, but yeah, I'll save that for another episode. But when you like, you know, yeah, and you listen to Adele, the music just sounds so different. Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. She's my favorite to listen to in that state.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to try it. Just one time, try it.
Noted.
All right. Favorite drink?
Lately, I have been drinking, I think what's Moscow Mule. I think you put me onto that.
Okay. Moscow Mule. All right. I like the whiskey version, the Kentucky Mule.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
Yeah, we have to put you onto that too. Role models.
My mom. Yeah, even though she's not here, like I still feel driven by her. So
yeah, we share that connection. Like when I first met Chantel, that was something that we kind of bonded over. Is we both lost our mothers at a young age, and they both instilled like this hustle and drive. To accomplish. My mom gave me a list because she knows that's how I work. I work off a list, outlines and stuff. Yeah, and it took me 20 years.
See? But you had guidance, you had structure, and you knew what you were shooting at.
Exactly. All right, luxury item.
Well, I went to I don't own this. Can this be what I would like to own?
It's whatever.
Okay, because I went to a conference the other day, and it was an aviation conference, and I was sitting in a private jet. So now all I think about now is like private jet. Yeah. I got a chance to taste it. Now I want to work towards it. So I would love that.
No, I saw that picture of the jet too. I was like, damn, that's the life. I want a jet. I watched it on The Life of the Extreme. It's like some television show where it's like the next level of extreme luxury. And they had this, like, you guys remember like, what is it, Fix My Car or something with
Pimp
Exhibit?
My Ride?
Yeah, Pimp My Ride. They had a version Pimp My Jet. It was souped out. It had beds. It had TVs.
Yep.
It had like it was...
The jet that I was in had a full living room, master bedroom. I thought I saw a jacuzzi in the back. Could be wrong, but I don't know. My eyes were spinning. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a jacuzzi back there, man. Like, the amount of wealth that can be attained is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So I love what you're doing with sales. All right, let's continue. Favorite food?
Oxtail.
Myrna put me onto oxtail. I love me some oxtail.
Yeah, I can't go without it.
Like, at first I was like, oxtail? Eating a tail? Like, but
I never really thought about it that way. Growing up, it's one of those words
normal.
you don't think about.
Yeah.
It could have been anything.
All right, favorite country to visit?
Dominica, because that's where my dad is from, and I'm very connected there.
All right. Best way to give back?
Your time.
Say that again.
Your time.
Yes.
Definitely.
People underestimate the importance of time.
Yes, they do.
Time. All right. Retirement place?
Orlando now.
What?
Girl, they have a lot of theme parks. They have a lot of food places. I could live that life. I could just go to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, go out to eat at Bahama Breeze. I could see myself doing that.
You know what's so crazy is I was like, what am I going to do differently for my birthday this year? Because birthdays to me are like huge celebrations. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to Disney World.
See?
Like, because they have new stuff, guys. Like, it's so cool. They have these little wristbands where you don't need tickets and you just scan your way through the park. They have new exhibits. I get excited. It's fine. That's another show. All right. Cartoon.
Oh, The Simpsons. I've watched every episode.
Yes. I remember running home from school just to catch The Simpsons. This was before a DVR. So you had to have the VH1.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Jeopardy. 7:30 The Simpsons.
Yeah. Love The Simpsons. Drama.
Like my favorite drama?
Drama. What comes to mind when you hear the word drama?
This Is Us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm into that show.
This Is Us and 911.
I don't know 911. I need to get on that. The last episode for This Is Us, no spoilers, was really, really good.
Yeah. Like, with This Is Us, I have to really be in an emotional state to watch it. Like, I have to be really prepared. And then afterwards, I end up watching cartoons. I do that with How to Get Away with Murder, too, because it's kind of scary. Like, How to Get Away with Murder is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's not scary, like, oh my gosh, I need to, like, turn on the nightlight. But it's scary because of the content. Like, it's so dark.
It's heavy.
Yeah. That Law and Order is really heavy.
Yes. When I was living alone watching Law and Order, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't think.
Think about it this way. I moved to New York, and I was watching Law and Order. I was so paranoid walking around my neighborhood. I was like, okay, I have to like cut off Law and Order for a while.
Yeah, it gets to you.
It does. Comedy.
Comedy Stellar comes to mind because I went to school for film and television, and then after that, I was a stage manager. And I was a stage manager at a playhouse next door to Comedy Cellar. So I was always seeing what the new comics were. I was like in the buzz of like up and coming entertainment.
Nice. I have yet to go to I went to Lil Duval's show. That was my first like live comedy.
Cool. He has that new song, right?
Yeah, Smile.
Is he a rapper now?
I don't know. I think I think he just has a good hit. I don't think. Nah, he's not rapping. No. It's like a playful like. I think it was a song in Fun.
Oh, okay.
That actually just took off. You know how Kevin Hart does that chocolate whatever it is,
parody songs like.
No, like Kevin Hart has an alter ego that's a rapper. Like so he plays this alternative character that is a rapper. I forget his name. It's chocolate something. I don't know.
I never heard about this. I need to look into that.
Yeah. All right. What is happiness?
Being in my bed. and like just resting.
I think as we get older, we find more appreciation for our beds than we ever have.
Yes.
Because when you're doing a lot and you're trying to when you're doing a lot and you're trying to rule the world, take over and just like manifest all of your dreams and beliefs, it leaves little time for your bed.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just so nice to kind of walk in. Like the first second you turn the door, walk in, you're like, it's done. Because that means everything is done.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, is there anything else you would like the listeners to know?
You know, going back to what you asked me about pieces of advice, act now. I don't put a lot of pressure on myself for, you know, how successful, because like that's all relative. How successful is something going to be? How amazing it's going to be? I just tell myself to try it first. And again, if things align, take those as signs. Just look for little signs every day that you're doing the right thing. And that propels me. So
I like that you say look for little signs. One of my good friends, Courtney, she always tells me that God sends you love notes.
Yes.
And so the love notes are the little signs that everything's going to be okay and little guidance.
Yes.
That's really good. That is really good. That is a really good way to like have like a nice last word. I like that. So thank you for being on the show. This has been tons of fun. Don't forget to follow Chantel George at...
well, my personal Instagram is Chantel Media, so Chantel Media. And my organization, if you're a woman of color in sales and you want to get connected, Sistas in Sales. So SISTASINSALES.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you for joining the conversation. To learn more about Currency Shift, go to currencyshiftnow.com. If you feel as though you fit the criteria as the first, the only, or the disruptive, send us an email, info@currencyshiftnow.com. Until next time, keep pushing, stay motivated, and stay encouraged.